and pleasure to introduce the next speaker. She is a barrister and international arbitrator, currently practicing as a consultant of the law firm Tommy Thomas, Kuala Lumpur. She has been practicing law for 27 years. She is a certified lifeline practitioner, trained in Australia, directly under the propounder of the lifeline technique, Dr. Darren Wiseman of Chicago since 2010. A Reiki channel, a meditator, a yoga practitioner, and an Aikido martial art enthusiast. She is trained in the emotional freedom technique, neurofeedback, and other wellness processes. She is the National Parent Care Coordinator of the Sathya Sai International Organization of Malaysia. With her dedicated parent care team of trainers, she has been advancing the Sathya Sai Baba human value principles of self-transformation for enhanced parent-child relations for more than 13 years. She has 3 children aged 22, 18, and 14. With great honor, I present to you Auntie Sitpah Selvaratnam.
Om Sri Sai Ram. Every person in this room is in a parent-child relationship, either with your parents or with your children or with both. This parent-child relationship is the most fundamental, essential, and profound relationship. And yet, it is probably the relationship that is most taken for granted. And for all of these years, generations perhaps, we sort of managed the situation of the insufficient or lack of attention to this precious relationship, parent-child. But may I suggest that the time has come where we need to critically repair the disconnect in parent-child relationship. So the parent care team, and I'll tell you more about the parent care team towards the end of the session when hopefully you're ready to hear more about us. We did a survey at the end of 2016, January 2017. What we did was issue flyers, issue survey forms to schools, to music schools, drama schools, to the public at large. It was blind, online, and we received 187 public response. We wanted to see what the issues were, current parent-child issues, and the extent of these issues. And so, Sairam, brother, next slide, please. And so these are some of the results of the survey. So concerns over child's affinity towards gadgets, social media. 77.7% of the 187 who responded said they had concerns about it. And this is not surprising, brother. Next slide, please. Because the Star in August 2016 reported that 95% of Malaysians worry about child safety online. In fact, 60% of them claim that children were exposed to cybercrime victims. And most of us don't know how to deal with this. Next slide, please. Concerns of a child obeying advice or instruction. Yeah, to do this, how many times do I have to ask you to clean your room? 75% of them said they were struggling with that issue. Next slide, please. And it's not localized to Malaysia, the concern over getting children to obey instructions. In America, this was the research done by the University of Maryland. Average age of 6 to 12-year-old spends 24 minutes a day, and that's doing chores, and that's after begging, pleading, and threatening the child. And they call it the chore strike. Yeah. Next, other concerns. Concerns about tantrums and emotional outbursts. 66.9, 67% had that. Look, they're more than way above 50%. Next, please. Concerns over peer influence, 62%. And many such concerns about peer influence in about 69%, concerns about peer influence, 59% about concentration on studies, resistance to studies, 51% about sibling rivalries. And these were real people telling us their predicament. Right. So as this was going on, we've also observed studies that were being done. Next slide, please. And we realized that some effects of parents were causing detrimental effects to the children. Some attitudes of parents, pushy parents as it's called, are parents who are driven. They want to achieve an end. Their objective is for the child's benefit, of course, but for the child to do very best in life, compete. But as a result, the byproduct of that is the child becomes overcritical of the child itself, himself, herself. It's at high risk of developing depression, anxiety symptoms, and they really fear making mistakes. So you get a situation where the children don't want to explore because they're afraid of failure. So in this context, in the context of all of this surveys that we've done, and perhaps the next slide might just wrap this part up, thank you, that against this background, it's projected that depression would be a major issue in about 3 years' time. In just 5 years, there's been a 50% increase in the number of depressed patients registering themselves, and this is the Psychiatric Association feedback. And the world average is 1 in 4. Malaysia is probably expected to be a bit worse off than that. I don't say this as a matter of invoking or instilling fear. I say to put into context the current parent-child relationship and issues. So with that, with all that we've gone through, the 13, 14 years of parent care that we've running, this is about the profile of the average child. Let's see, the next slide, please. Can you bring it all up, please? So at the body level, because the child has a body, there's energy, the moods of the child. There's the mind, the thoughts that are vibrating the mind, the intellect, the ability to know right and wrong. And finally, the joy, the bliss part of it, the ability of the child to be at joy. What's happening? At that level, they're having mental health issues, depression, anxiety, being glum, being shut up in their rooms, withdrawing from society, anxiety about their future, pressure from their parents, get off my back. They want the parents to get off their back. Communication issues, there seems to be no understanding, no communication open, no channel open to them. So resort to cyber, perhaps, social internet, cyberbullying then, peer pressure, all the darts issue, possible victims of that, gadgets, social media, sense of responsibility blurred because they're distracted. What else? Time management, never seem to be able to get things done in time. Obesity on the rise, all arising together, and then reactive patterns of indiscipline, emotional outbursts as a reactive pattern, which the parents have to face. Yes, the parents have to face, but this is the child. This is the child. So if the parents feel the child is giving them a hard time, just remember the child is having a hard time. How many of you feel your hearts melt thinking that a child, an average child, is going through this on a daily basis? Yes, it should melt us. It should melt us. Because as we melt and we grieve for the state of affairs, then alone we move forward. And what are the two, brother? Next slide, please. What are the two factors we can distill from it? Many, many causes. But if I were to filter that down and find out what are the two primary causes, I'd say it's conditioning and distractions. What do I mean by conditioning? So I grew up in a beautiful family. My mother was a beautiful mother, but she was very particular about time. And she was so particular about time, punctuality meant everything. And yes, it is a very important thing to respect time. But I have grown up having a distorted version of time. So much so, if I am late, I go into tense mode. And at that point in time, if someone came up to me and asked me, can you buy me a notebook for my school tomorrow, I would probably lash out. Why didn't you sort it out earlier? Why? Because I am stressed out about my time. And why? Because my conditioning from the past has got me distorted. Many of us carry conditioning like this, or many of us have issues where we've struggled through our early years, putting ourselves through double work, earning money to go through further education. And it was tough, and we did it. And then we see the children, everything given for them, and you can't even study. That's all. You have one responsibility, you can't do that. You blow your money irresponsibly on things. And why is that a trigger? It's a trigger because there's a baggage in us, a baggage of resentment coming from our past. We carry that. Of course, we're tremendously grateful to our parents, but there's some things from our past that needs healing. And until that's healed, we are not whole. When you're not whole, we're not able to give our children the best. So these are conditionings, and these conditionings affect our ability to nurture the child to the fullest potential. Distractions, that's obvious. Work demands, social demands, Sai demands for us, for the children, robbing us of the time. Short of that, the long and short of that is we're never in the present moment. We're always either in the past, triggered about something in the past, or anxious about the future, and not able to give the moment, the time it requires, the situation at hand with the child, the attention it deserves, right? And forward. So you end up, next slide, brother, with the child being in this situation, right? So let's then introduce this child to a wholesome home with human values. Obviously, the children, almost all the children here go for human values education. They spend 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week at Balvikas, but they spend over 100 hours a week at home. So who's watering the plants that the gurus have actually carefully sown? And so if we introduce in the home human values so that they come back to a home where the environment is nourishing, let's see what happens. So, brother, can I have each one of them out, please? Right conduct at the body level, love at the energy, peace at the mind, truth at the intellect, and non-violence at the bliss domain. The 5 values. What happens when the home is resonating with that, vibrating with the human values, Swami's human values? Let's see. You will find everything that you thought negative, everything that you thought was draining as a parent, you'll find that dissolve, evaporate. Why? Because when you bring a candle into the room, darkness disappears. Where does it go? Who cares? Because there's light in the room, and that's what happens to a home filled with human values. And instead, what starts growing? Automatically. What starts growing, brother? Just click them up. Children become responsible, hardworking, disciplined, cheerful, caring, emotionally stable, understanding, confident, happy, calm, communicates well, knows right from wrong, and that's critical in this day and age where the entire world is in their palm and they are subjected to so many influence. Right and wrong must be firmly awakened within them, and that happens. Honesty, fair conduct, knowing their limits and boundaries. Yes, I can go on social media, but for so long only, and it's self-regulating because their buddhi, their sense of intellect has been awakened. There's some more, brothers? Balanced, joyful, and socially connected, personally responsible, knowing their purpose in life. And knowing the purpose in life is critical to the youth today, because otherwise emptiness steps in. Emptiness leads to vice and other distractions. So this is what happens. And how does this happen? First, before how it happens, how many of you want children like this? That's all. The rest of you don't want children. You already have children like that. Good on you. Okay, so if we want children like this, and we can have children like this, it's so easy. It's in our palms to have children like this. In fact, I would suggest it is our duty to nurture children so that they're optimized to this level. That's what Swami has given them, gems in our hands to nurture and blossom their fullest potential. So how do we do this then? Would you want to know how we do this? So we do this with parent care. So what is parent care? Parent care is just helping parents. Yeah, parents helping parents. But it fills a valuable gap, a gap in our education system. No one taught us how to be a good parent. No one taught us. Went through syllabus. We did history for 6 years and geography for 6 years, maths for 13 years. We hardly use it. But no one taught us anger management or child psychology or human relations. No one taught us how to build a relationship, right? And so parent care fills that void. More about parent care later. But let's see what we do in parent care. Next slide, brother. So we go back into ourselves. Knowing that there's that void, we start with reintroducing everyone to themselves. Okay, who are we? What's our operating system? Our operating systems are 5 koshas. It's the physical body. It's the energy, our moods. We know when we're happy and we know we are mood off, angry. The mind, where the thoughts just go looping and looping. 50,000 thoughts a day that just go round and round. Recurrent thoughts, wasteful thoughts. The intellect, discriminating right from wrong, making a decision whether to come into this hall or sit outside and have coffee perhaps. That's the intellect that guides us. Bliss, the place of joy, which is every person's birthright, to be in our joy. And yet we struggle with it because we're everywhere else, in our mind, in our emotions, in our confusion, and therefore not in joy. So how do we do this? Once we introduce the operating system that we're all on, same operating system, then we introduce the techniques in parenting, the optimum parenting techniques, using each kosha, each domain, each sheet to its maximum. Brother, next one. Just bring it all up, brother. So at the body level, it's healthy parenting, and we deal with stress. Everyone is stressed these days. It seems almost a given. We have to be stressed. We have to be stressed. Why are you not stressed? But it's not the way. Just because everybody is stressed doesn't mean you have to be stressed. So we undo the conditioning about stress and make conscious decisions about lifestyle choices. And energy parenting, that's when we take the bull by the horn. Anger, take it by the horn, look at it, give it the name, say we don't want that and choose love. And then anger gets transmuted into love. And then we read in ourselves, and then we realize the situations in our home, the challenging behavior in the home is the child's behavior coming as a way of communicating. Behavior that we don't like is only communication. They're communicating in the best way they know how. They're confused about their own emotions. So we emotionally coach them. We acknowledge our own emotions, sort ourselves out, get that out of the way, emotionally coach the child, give the child assurance that emotions are fine. Emotions awaken you to your higher self. What are you feeling right now? Label it. So they then feel comfortable with emotions, never overwhelmed by emotions. And then we help them find boundaries about it, solutions for themselves, not us giving solutions, for them to start awakening different other parts of them, to find solutions out of that emotional turmoil that they have. Conscious parenting. The mind, use the power of the mind to visualize what your child wants to be. You think a child's stupid, idiot, bloody fool, that's what he will be. But if you think my child is divine, talented, vibrating with divinity, always at his optimum, that is what your child will be. So we use our mind not to work against us, but work for us, conscious of our words, conscious of our thoughts and the vibrations that come from it. Creative parenting, to realize every child is special, is gifted in a special way. And we appreciate every child for what they are. They come with their divine purpose, not to fulfill our purpose. And so with creative parenting, we know the right side, the left side dominant. They're hardwired perhaps differently. That's why they have issues with punctuality perhaps, or maths, and so on. So appreciating the child at creative parenting, coming up with new solutions to best address their issues. And finally, it's intuitive parenting. We are at our bliss. And when we are at our bliss, we are connected with everyone and anyone. We are co-creating with God. Not creating, but co-creating. We vibrate at the frequency where our messages, our guidance, the child gets carried like Bluetooth. I Bluetooth here and the child gets the guidance over there, and they don't even know that the idea came from the parent. Yeah, they think it's there. So it's an amazing 6-week program. that we go through each week. The first week will be perception. So over 6 weeks, we will do a kosher at a time, optimizing each domain of ours in the best parenting technique. So let's see, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So let's see the video of the testimonials. Brother, can you put the videos, please? It's a little long. It's worth waiting, staying here with me, because at the end of the video are the nuggets.
What I've gained through parent care is that when we have chosen happiness, peace and love as our design objectives, the way we respond to daily family issues is more positive, inspiring, and builds up the self-confidence in our children to be able to overcome challenges as they progress from being teenagers to adulthood. So the unique thing about parent care is it is a simple yet structured program which is designed to actually realign our core values so that we put this into daily practice and make it such that our children mirror us, they see the changes in us, and they are also inspired to act and to behave accordingly. That's the beautiful part about parent care. I will definitely recommend parent care to anyone out there, even if they do not believe that they need such help. But once you take the first step towards parent care, once you set foot in it, you will find there will be changes which are actually phenomenal.
I found that these parent care programs have made a big change on myself. I start to have a very peace in heart that's actually creating me to have a calm mind. I start to be more open and not with my idea that my idea definitely is the best. It is the right one. This is the two obvious changes that I have, that I can see the relationship improve between my kids and me, and also my husband. I definitely wanted to recommend this program to others, as I feel we might have our method, but this program really make you alert and practice it. So that really make me feel that it's not only theoretical, but it's really practical.
Because of parent care, we understand each other more, you know. I know that at that age, children can be a bit stressful. They are finding their own identity and things like that. And so I try to discipline myself and try to be more understanding, and try to go into their level and try to talk to them and things like that. And this really helped, because 6 weeks of parent care, each week there is different energy and different this thing.
The biggest change is the fact that parent care has given me hope. I can be a better parent, and that we are not alone. Especially with all the friends that we've made in parent care. I would recommend parent care without a single doubt. Parent care is a program, you just have to do it. It brings out things in you that you don't really know. But please, just give parent care a try. It's magical. It's just something you would never believe how good it is for you.
It actually helps us to improve our relationships. Like what you say, a reborn. We probably like newly dating again, kind of. And then actually that will resolve a lot of our crises over the 10 years actually. I would definitely recommend this parent care program 200% to all the other parents, and on top of that, all the other individuals. To me, it's a life skill that actually is not just parents need to learn.
Parent care has taught us how we can discipline our child using human value and not our emotions. Parent care has helped me to stay calm, to take a moment before even jumping into a conclusion, because parenting is a lifelong process. So I think every parent should take an opportunity to make the first step to attend parent care.
She's more reserved normally. She won't speak out everything she thinks she can handle and so on. After parent care, she's more open, willing to share with the groups.
I don't know why I can really speak out. Usually, I actually keep it. I feel we can actually solve it ourselves, but actually it's not. When it comes to parent care, it's something that I start to speak up, and I also start to let him speak up. So I don't know why. It's just that maybe the acceptance in this group, this program didn't make me feel I'm free to speak up, I'm free to open up myself. The impact and the result is really good that we are able to sing back. And I think we really lost quite some time.
So after that, our relationship actually grows very smoothly after the years of crisis, and I really thank a lot.
Now after going through parent care, even if I want to get angry, there's something actually stopping me. I feel there's something stopping me from getting angry, and I get more calm. On numerous times I ask my wife, what is happening to me? Is something wrong with me? This is not how I used to be. What is happening to me? And she says that it's because you have transformed. And I find that is wonderful. It's really fantastic and utterly positive for me.
As for the relationship, I think both of us have made a lot of changes for the better. We actually feel like we are falling in love again. Parent care has brought us to the next level whereby we are able to understand each other, and we are able to give set the priorities right. So somehow, I don't know how. If you ask me how, I can only say it's because of parent care, but it's just like a magical journey for us where it just flipped the whole situation around, and there's so much of laughter and joy and harmony at home now. And the kids could really feel the difference, and they are so happy that we actually attended parent care. Parent care has changed a lot in my personal life, in our relationship, and also the relationship with our children. So if it can happen to us, it can happen to everyone out there. So please make the step to attend parent care with our wonderful trainers.
Thank you. Sarah, the slides back, please. Thank you. So doesn't that melt your heart that couples come back together, and when father and mother come back together and the unit is one and whole, then the whole home is joyous and vibrating with love again. And so can I have the slides again, brother, please? I know. So very quickly, so how did they get that? That was the effect of the parent care. It's why? Because it's inside out approach. It is exactly what this forum is about. It's going within, transforming, and then radiating it outside, out of us. It brings the child in as we do role plays. So parents come in for 6 weeks and they do role plays, and then they see the pain that the child goes through when we shout at the child, we demand from the child, we communicate in an abusive or perhaps not correct manner. And when you see that, it's shocking, because now you're an objective bystander. And then you take it home, it brings out the child in you when you have acted in a role play. And when we bring the child in us out, that's the purity within us that comes out. It's innocence that's ready to love and radiate. Every child is different. Appreciating the fact that each one is special with their own talents, and realizing finally it's not when we are crass, when we are firm and we control things that we are effective. It's when we let go, when we are subtle, where the eyes say the firmness, the law is with the eyes, but the heart is constantly radiating the love. So these are some of the cornerstones of parent care. And finally we do that be. Next one, brother. Be, do, see, tell. The parents be that epitome of love and peace and truth, and the children, and be and do it, and the children see it. And once the children see it and mirror it, then you can tell them why it is so important in your lives. So it is absolutely a journey within. And as we go in, we go through our koshas, the physical, the energy, the mental, the intellectual, getting to our bliss, and then we radiate out. Next slide, please. The gems that come from bliss, the gems of bliss that illuminates the intellect, showing clarity of what's right and what's wrong in every situation the child is in, every situation we are in. And then it gives that clarity of knowing right and wrong, gives us calm mind, peace of mind. And when there's peace of mind, the heart just goes into default mode of love. When you're peace, you're love, and you're vibrating that. And then what happens is just right conduct. So right conduct becomes the result of being in your bliss and having your koshas aligned, your values aligned. The next one, please. And how do we do this? How do we achieve this? Brother, next one, please. Is using kind attention. Let me just emphasize this. It's using kind attention. We do it as a sharing session, and when we do that, it's a small group, and everyone feels safe. It's confidential. It's a sacred space of healing, where when you give kind attention, what happens? You feel good. The hormones, chemicals are released that make you feel good. When you feel good, instead of blame. So it's kind attention as opposed to shame and blame. Kind attention, you feel good. Your brain parts of you that go towards learning actually start lighting up. It switches on the learning parts of your brain. The chemicals that are released make you feel good, and when you feel good, you get the courage. You get the courage to look into the darkest parts of you, your conditioning, the parts of you that you don't like, and make a change. And therefore, that's what the sister was sharing. I don't know why, but it's coming out. And when it comes out, you are healing. And over 6 weeks of this practice of healing, new neural pathways are formed, and then becomes a way of your life. You start looking at things differently, looking at yourself and looking at at everyone else differently. The transformation has happened. That's why the brother can't get angry. I don't know why I can't get angry. He can't get angry because new neural pathways have formed based on kind attention. And also because we then realize how every problem in our home is about right conduct. Why didn't you do this? How could you do that? It's about right conduct. And we forget that there's also a place for love, peace, truth, and non-violence. And right conduct is what we harp on at the expense of the others. As we go through the 6 weeks, it finds its natural place. And so anger subsides. The home environment changes. Next, brother. And so what you have then, all up, please. A transformation happening internally and a transmission out of these beautiful values to the children. And we have everything out, please, at all levels. The children don't have to do anything. The parent is doing all the work. The children automatically get the benefits of all of that. It's us that we need to actually realign, not even fix, just realign the outer transmission to the child. And so you will see from the program we've been dealing largely with urban parents, working middle class parents who have really got no issues perhaps with money, shelter, clothes. So these are the parents who are able to spend time looking within themselves and transforming. If we were to go to the marginalized, to the poor with additional issues, you can see they're not able to actually have a conducive environment to sustain an inner transformation. So it is my suggestion, and I take this very seriously, that it should be a vision that everyone who is able to live the life of the parent care, who's comfortable enough to live a life of parent care, should do it. Everyone in this room, therefore, should be doing it and spreading. Why? Because then you have an energy shift, an ideology breakthrough that helps all the rural, all the people who can't do it themselves, because there's an automatic shift in consciousness. So I leave you with that to say, please, if you're interested in registering as a trainer, we need more trainers. We have lots of trainers, but we need more. Maybe would you be interested to know where we came from? It'll take me 2 minutes. The last slide, brother, just put it all up, please. So we started in 2003. We're 2007. We have gone through about more than 1,000 parents have gone through us. 2014, we took this and trained trainers in Thailand. And we've had many 100 parents coming in for at one time concentrated parent-child appreciation day in 2013. And then 2015, we had the great fortune, with Swami's grace, to have Dr. Pal and Tassin Dal come in to Malaysia and help us reformulate. Of course, the core is still there, but taught us about adult training tools. And so it's a revised program, a much upgraded program. We have more than 35 trainers going throughout the country. Just in April and May, we've had 7 concurrent parent care sessions happening in Perak, Negeri Sembilan, Selangor, and Wilayah. So we need more trainers. If you're interested, if it resonates with you, please sign up for training. If you would like to do the 6-week course with us, it's 6 weeks, 3.5 hours each week. Do come. It's 21 hours. What's that investment? Just register at the back there. Sai Ram.